It seems like the topic of defining the relationship between father and daughter is very hot right now, and in One Piece, it's the same. Just recently, a theory has been put forward to Gunko be Brook's lost daughter. With the new flashback scenes revealed, Saint Oda seems to be leading us to one of the most emotional revelations in the entire story. So, in today's video, I will show you guys the potential connection between Brook and Gunko, the mysteries about their past, and the impact of this storyline on One Piece. Chapter 1149, a special moment that caused the One Piece fan community to boil when Gunko, a divine knight, pushed Gabin away. Suddenly, a memory in her head flooded back. This memory was triggered when Colin called her father, making Gunko remember a girl with hair very similar to hers crying and calling for her father. This father had an appearance and way of speaking identical to Brook, the skeletal musician fool of the Straw Hat. Immediately, I had a series of questions. Is the girl in this memory Gunko, or is she her sister? And right after that, we saw a younger version of Gunko in another flashback scene where Brook was talking to a little girl, and it's very possible that's Gunko. This little girl seemed sad, and Brook comforted her by talking about his dream of becoming a pirate. I can't help but wonder if, in some way, Brook is Gunko's father, and why was the little girl crying and calling for him in that memory? What we know about Brook before joining the Rumbar Pirates is very little. We only know that Brook was a member of the military force of a mysterious kingdom with a noble style of speaking and attire. It seems that in this memory, Gunko is crying because Brook had to leave to fight or go to sea, or an even crazier possibility is that Brook was once a divine knight but gave it up to become a pirate, but that's still just speculation and there are no details to prove it. Let's go back to the main theory. Are Brook and Gunko father and daughter? Although not certain, the flashback scenes that Oda has revealed seem to be leading us to that conclusion. In one scene, Brook is talking to the little girl speculated to be Gunko in a place full of music. The interesting thing is that the current Gunko is extremely fond of Brook's music, especially the song, New World. This makes me wonder if she has lost her memory of Brook and that island of music. Maybe Gunko's memories were erased when she became a divine knight, similar to Sabo's memory loss situation, or perhaps when she meets Brook again at Elbaf, those memories are gradually returning, making her want to free him, but him occupied her body to prevent that. But wait, guys, there are also other possibilities that we need to consider. Maybe Gunko is not Brook's biological daughter, but his adopted daughter, like the relationship between Kuma and Bonnie, or maybe she is just a little girl that Brook happened to meet, like how Shanks met Luffy. But I have to admit that if Brook really has a daughter, whether biological or adopted, why has he never mentioned it to any member of the Straw Hat crew? Although that's not strange to us because Saint Oda's style from ancient times until now is famous for being like that, hiding big details about characters' pasts like Sanji's, Vinsmoke family or Zoro's family tree in Wano. Therefore, I do not rule out the possibility that Oda is preparing for a super emotional pass for Brook. Clearly, until now, in my mind and yours, Brook is not weak. He is actually very strong, but because he is so goofy, it makes us feel like he is normalized in the crew. Remember after Sabaody, the members of the Straw Hat crew were all sent to important places. Those places contributed greatly to their development process. But what about Brook? He went to be a singer and perform for others to watch. So, it can be seen that music is also very important in bigger wars for the future of One Piece. Speaking of this, maybe you guys will remember Luffy's Drums of Liberation. Right, it's definitely like that. Music has always been seen as a source of energy that awakens human instinct, but I will analyze this detail at the end of the video because it is still related to Im's manipulation ability. So for now, we need to clarify the relationship between Brook and Gunko first. Big question that always makes us wonder is, if Gunko is Brook's daughter, then why does she look only about 20 years old, while the events in the flashback happened about 50 years before the Rumbar Pirates were wiped out? Brook is currently about 90 years old, and the Rumbar Pirates were annihilated over 50 years ago, so how the heck is Gunko still so young? I have three theories. First is immortality. It is very possible that Gunko received immortality similar to the five elders, for example, Saturn, who has not aged in hundreds of years from God Valley until now. Perhaps Im granted Gunko this power when she joined the Divine Knights, but the strange thing is that other Divine Knights, like Figarland Garling, age like normal people. So what makes Gunko so special? If I remember correctly, Gunko is the only Divine Knight who doesn't have a saint title when introduced, and her initial design in the full body looks like a mummy, exactly like how Brook appeared. Do these clues have anything to do with each other? The next theory is freezing. Do you remember the moment Im first appeared when he entered a giant, mysterious cold storage? What if Im keeps the Divine Knights in a frozen state like how Moria preserved living corpses in Thriller Bark or the giant straw hat preserved by Im? If Gunko was frozen for decades like that, it would explain why she didn't age and lost her memory. This idea also opens up the possibility that we will see great warriors from the past appear in the final battle, creating a super epic battle. Let's go to the final theory, which is cloning. Another possibility explaining Gunko's age is that she is a clone of someone from the past with memories awakened from genetic factors, similar to Seraphim like Stussy or the clone of Boa Hancock. However, Vegapunk's cloning technology seems to have developed after Brook's era, so this theory is less feasible. Although, the idea that Gunko is an avatar of Im, like how Moria controlled shadows, is also very interesting. Overall, I feel I lean more towards the immortality or freezing theories, but hope that the next chapters will clarify that. To sum it up, Gunko is too young to be a divine knight for Im, so it is very possible that she is old but her body is still young because she may be immortal, frozen, or a clone. With these points, it shows that Gunko has some relationship with an old man like Brook, which is completely reasonable, and from that, a flashback about Brook's biography will be opened, a person who is always happy and optimistic but has a not-so-happy past. From that, it will also become the foundation for Brook to awaken his true power, worthy of being a crew member of a Yonko crew. So what will Brook's power be? If we look closely, we will see that one of the highlights of the theme of love and family is expressed through the father-daughter relationship between Gabon and Colin. I believe that Brook's musical power will play an important role in rescuing Gunko from Im's control. With the Yomi Yomi no My Devil Fruit, Brook has the ability to move souls with music, and Gunko, a huge fan of the song New World, a grand concert at Elbaf could awaken Gunko's memories, helping her escape from Im. Im occupying Gunko's body has not been clearly explained, but based on my research, there are some interesting theories. That is spirit and body. From ancient times until now, many theories suggest that the body is controlled by the spirit, so who knows, maybe Im took his spirit and entered and occupied that body of Gunko. According to dualism, Plato suggests that the spirit includes reasoned thoughts, will fighting spirit, and desires wants. In Christianity, it is believed that the spirit includes 1. The spirit connected to God, 2. Free will, 3. Reason to distinguish right from wrong. Hearing this makes me feel very similar to the will of D, and Im considering himself the ruling God. However, currently, we are talking about Brook's power. As mentioned earlier, Brook's devil fruit is somewhat related to the soul, and he is not afraid of those who have soul-related abilities, like Brook's fight against Big Mom. It seems you guys have seen that Saint Oda continuously hints that Brook is related to the soul. It is definitely not a coincidence. So, in the future, we will definitely see Brook use power related to music and target some ability related to Im's soul. And just now, I also said that the soul in Christianity includes the spirit connected to God, similar to the 5 elders and the divine knights connected to Im, and the soul also includes fighting spirit, which sounds quite similar to the will of D. But that's just a small theory that's too vague. Let's go back to Brook using music to awaken Gunko's soul from Im's bondage. But if Gunko escapes from Im, she might also be destroyed by Im, like the case of Saturn. This would be a tragic ending, could save Elbaf and the Straw Hat crew, or it could also lead to another assumption. If Gunko regains her memories and escapes from Im, she will become an ally of the Straw Hat crew, bringing a very emotional reunion with Brook. A divine knight joining the Straw Hat crew would be a super cool detail, like how Kuma or Bonnie became allies. But it's also possible that Im will completely destroy the land of Elbaf, like burning down the giant tree or killing the giants, forcing the Straw Hat crew to face defeat and go through another time skip to train. Another interesting detail is Gunko's different colored eye. Maybe she belongs to the 3-eye tribe with a hidden third eye, explaining why Im wants to control her. Or these eyes are directly related to Im as a way to control Gunko. Another theory is that Gunko was pieced together like the living corpses in Thriller Bark, creating a special version of her. And that's why Brook and Gunko only vaguely recognize fragments of memories from the past. Till now, Brook is the Straw Hat crew member with the least development after the time skip. In Thriller Bark, his goal was just to get his shadow back to meet Laboon. After that, he only had a few standout moments on Whole Cake Island. This flashback could shed light on Brook's past from childhood, his journey to becoming a pirate, to his connection with the Divine Knights. Brook was once a divine knight. This would explain why he knows about them and why Gunko's homeland was attacked. Developing Brook also opens up hope for other characters like Chopper, Jin, and Frankie, who have not been focused on after the time skip. For example, Frankie has almost no role in Iked, even though it's about technology. I hope Oda will continue to deepen the side characters like he did with Sanji and Zoro, and who knows, maybe we will soon see Nami's past and her true origin. To sum it up, the storyline about Brook and Gunko has the potential to become one of the most emotional arcs in One Piece. Whether Gunko is his biological daughter, adopted daughter, or just an acquaintance of Brook, this connection promises to bring heartwarming moments. The theory that Brook was once a divine knight further increases the appeal, opening up a new perspective on his past. With music and perhaps Haki as the key, I believe Elbaf will be a major turning point, not only for Brook, but also for the entire Straw Hat crew in the fight against him and the world government. Okay, thank you to all the guys who watched the entire video. If you liked it, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to support us. And now, goodbye and see you again.